All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. It is officially free agent tampering eve. Emotions are running wild.
Yeah, I've put milk and cookies out, hoping for a great sign from the Vikings tomorrow at noon. We'll see what happens. We're going to talk in some targets that the Vikings have been linked to, rumored to be interested in. There's quite a few, actually. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like, and comment, and become a YouTube member to get your chance to win that signed John Randall helmet.
Yeah, we will be going live at 5 o'clock Central Time today as well, doing a free agent live show. So hit that up. Yeah, these are the names that have been sprinkled out, whether it's Alec Lewis of the Athletic or whoever, Jeremy Fowler, or just some random dude. We're going over some names, and some of these names we know. I mean, we don't got to sit and talk. I mean, let's get the big boy names out of the way. I mean, Christian Wilkins. Everything appears to be very clear that the Vikings are very interested in him at the right price.
Yeah, I feel like they might be the front runners for his services right now. And I think that's really being pushed by Brian Flores, who wants his boy back. He wants to be reunited with the big man. And I'd love it. I would love it so much if Christian Wilkins was a Minnesota Viking.
Yeah, everybody, if we signed Christian Wilkins and anybody complained, they're just really having a bad day because everybody wants Christian Wilkins. It's weird. Somebody linked him to the Texans this morning, and I was like, damn,
no,
that makes a lot of sense. They would probably pay a ton of money for him. So Christian Wilkins is our unicorn right now. We want him. We want him so damn bad. Let's go through some other names before we get into the lesser known names. Let's go. Russell Wilson.
I was honestly hoping he would sign with Pittsburgh over the weekend so that could just die because no one wants Russell Wilson here in Minnesota. I just think he's a cancer. And not really a good football player at the stage of his game.
I was hoping he would just sign with like the XFL or someone like just or maybe retire something. That damn Subway video has been all around again lately. And you watch that thing. If we sign this guy, usually when we sign somebody, it's like, all right, I like him. A couple hours later, I wouldn't like him.
No, and if you go back, I actually recreated that video on a member video way back when, so I'm sure it's in the archive somewhere.
Oh, God, please don't waste your time. I'm sure it's beautiful. So, yeah, Russell Wilson will be a name that's continued until the Vikings figure out their quarterback situation. Speaking of quarterback, Sam Darnold. And again, these aren't names that we're saying we want to come. These are just names that people are throwing out there. And Sam Darnold is another one that seems to be fairly linked to the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, he would be that bridge quarterback if we do lose Kirk Cousins, which is, pretty well expected to happen. Again, I think he'd be like, he's going to be the starter, but I would assume by training camp he gets beaten up by the rookie. But Sam Darnold, everybody's like, well, let's see what he does with some weapons around him. Well, I don't know. He played a little bit in San Francisco with some weapons, and he didn't do very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's got all the things that you hear about busts. So many offensive coordinators has been thrown around, blah blah blah. If we were to sign Sam Darnold, I just feel that he would always, like week 5, like Donovan McNabb style, he would go to the bench and just whoever the backup is, would be out there.
Yeah, I mean, if we get Darnold, we're going to go get a rookie quarterback, whether it's McCarthy, Penix, whoever it may be, Drake May. I mean, they're going to be on the team. One of those guys I'm very confident would be. So I think they would probably end up starting, like you said, week 5 at the worst.
Sam Darnold come here for a resurgence. Let's see. Go through some other guys. Danico Autry. The old man Withers, I think he's going to be 34 this summer, but the dude, I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, I consider myself, I'm fairly familiar with a lot of the best players in the league. Danico Autry, I don't know a ton about.
I mean, I've heard the name. Is he an end or a nose?
He's a 5 tech that can throw him out to edge, but he seems to be a beautiful defensive end in this defense. He gets after the quarterback. I think he had 11 sacks last year. He's been in the Pro Bowl like a handful of times over the last 3 years. And he's a guy that would come in and transform the defense. It's his age. He's projected to get like $7.5 million. Day one starter would get his.
I mean, this would make more sense if Cousins comes back and you're really making a push to compete. I could see it happening. So if he doesn't make a lot of sense to me, even though he's a damn good player, apparently.
He's one of those guys that just goes under the radar, does not get any love that he should deserve. Danico Autry, but I've seen that by a couple people. A couple more. Let's get in some Dolphins here because, we'll see Brian Flores' former boys, Andrew Van Ginkel and Jerome Baker. Van Ginkel is the edge rusher, Jerome Baker, the inside linebacker, drafted by Flores, played 3 years for Flores. So, or Van Ginkel was drafted by Flores, but 2 Dolphin guys.
Yeah, and the Ginker we've talked about before, kind of underrated edge rusher out there. I think he can move inside as well. A little versatility to his game. Sounds like Miami really wants him back. They're in salary cap hell, so it sounds like he's going to probably get to the free agent market. Baker was recently released, correct? I believe just last week.
I think he was set to make like 10 plus million. They couldn't come to an agreement. He definitely didn't have his best season last year, but he's going to be very sought after. Still only 27. And again, he's a guy that can definitely get after it. And Flores, it seems that the Flores Baker seems they may have liked each other quite a bit.
And that's a position the Vikings do need to add some depth, whether it's Jordan Hicks coming back or just somebody else. You need a veteran presence back there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we were to sign a Jerome Baker, I think he would probably start. I don't think he wants to go anywhere to back up, but he's a very hot name as far as inside linebackers. Van Ginkel, coming off his best season as a pro, 6.5 sacks, filled in for Dolphins, had some injuries at edge and flourished. He flourished. So he's a nice cheap option. Like, we lose Daniil Hunter, DJ Wanham, bring in Van Ginkel for $6 million a year. He gets his chance to shine. A guy that has definitely shined already, Lloyd Cushenberry, the Cush.
It's nice seeing the Vikings being interested in a top flight center. Go put some money in that position. Get an anchor there, a guy who can actually block and hold the line and maybe not, let defensive linemen get into the crotch of his quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, first we got to get rid of our center. So until Garrett Bradbury is gone, center will not be on anybody's radar.
You can sign him and then cut him.
Yeah, we'll see. But Cushenberry will be probably the darling of the centers, projected to get 12 to 13 million a year, worth every damn penny. All right, Chidobe Awuzie, cornerback, 28 years old, fantastic in coverage, going to be one of the top corners out there, projected to get $11-12 million. Again, this would be a day one starter plug and play.
Yeah, and he was recently released as well, wasn't he? Or was
Chidobe Awuzie, I don't know. I thought he was a free agent.
Oh, okay. Bengals, and did he spend some time with the Cowboys too, or am I just making that shit up?
I don't know. I think you need to start looking this stuff up beforehand. It appears that you need to do some research.
No, but he's a damn good corner. A guy has graded out well in years past. He's one of these names that you hear about, like, underrated corners out there. Chidobe Awuzie, 28 years old, a lot of experience, and again, look at this Vikings secondary group. And you got these young guys that have not yet really hit any kind of sign that they're going to get there. And Andrew Booth Jr. and Caleb Evans. I mean, Evans did start, but he fell off so hard. You got to get a veteran guy in there. I feel pretty good with Blackman. I feel pretty good with Murphy, but we need somebody else, and a veteran like Awuzie makes sense.
Yeah, his coverage numbers are fantastic. He's got very low interceptions during his career, but he's good. Leonard Williams is the last guy on the list. Defensive tackle, still only 29. It seems like he should be like 47 years old at this point. Coming off 4-sack season. The dude is going to continue to get big contracts, projected like 17 million. And again, I mean, Leonard Williams, we all know Leonard Williams. He can come in day one, and he's not a Christian Wilkins in my mind, but he's pretty damn close as far as just game changing that defensive line.
Yeah, damn good player. I mean, Jet, Giant, Seahawk last year. I think he can play inside. He can play outside. Probably start as a 5-tech for the Vikings. Move inside if we do a 4-man front. So Leonard Williams, I would be all for this, and I don't think he's going to break the bank. I mean, he'd be a nice option, definitely a starter on this defense.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't get Christian Wilkins, I think it's probably fair to say that old Leonard is probably my number 2.
Yeah, I would love it. He's still, how old is he? He's pretty damn young,
29.
Right? 29, a little older than I thought, but yeah, I mean, he's played well for the Seahawks after getting traded there. So an underrated trade for the Seahawks. And actually, that's when they started going on a run there, is when Leonard Williams came. So a guy who can have an impact to your defense.
Yeah, so opposed to some kind of very unattractive quarterbacks on this list, as you can see, a lot of these names are defenders, defense,
and they need to be, because we need a lot of holes on that side of the ball.
Lucky. Those are the rumored targets. If you got any, throw them down in the comments. Remember, join us tonight, 5:00. We'll be going live for about an hour or so.
And remember this: Betty White in Golden Girls was originally cast to play Blanche.
Oh.